Hey everybody. So I'm going to finish up this 1941 Emerson that I've been working on for a little bit. And for those of you who continue showing up and watching my weird little channel, I did go watch part of my last episode to see what the audio was doing. It seems like it sounded better. One thing I thought about doing is maybe get a lapel mic, and that would make it even better. I don't know. I absolutely do not doubt that I have a lost channel on all of YouTube. And make almost no effort. That's all I'm trying anyway. What am I doing? You're probably wondering. I am making essentially a device that will allow me to my audio, meaning audio from YouTube, I can connect something else into the radio. And the radio is essentially what I'm doing here is, let's see if I can get this in the camera. This is the wire that goes to top of the volume control. So that means this radio right now, if I turn it on, I'll get no radio, I'll just get a bit of hums because this is the signal here. The reason I'm telling you this is because the signal for my audio is going to go in through volume control. It's going to allow me to listen to music or snap a switch and return the radio signal. So if someone wants to listen to the old-fashioned AM radio, they can. And I've had a number of people complain about this practice, but honestly, if the goal is to keep these things out of the landfill, then making them more useful is not a bad plan. And by allowing these to be used to play other things besides AM, means, and in fact, a lot of people that purchase these from our museum wind up using them for years to do exactly that. They listen to them. It kind of gives them new life. We have some people that bring them back because they actually need a tube replaced because they just, they used it a lot, and that happened. And it's not a big deal. Now this is an isolation transformer. I've already scraped off the bottom side, and bummer, that's my last one, but I was going to show you the print. What it says on one side is 110 volts, and the other side says secondary 6 volts. And if you have any wall warts that you don't want anymore, you can use exactly the same thing. You can smash one open with a hammer, and usually there's a transformer inside. Your primary will be what goes to the wall outlet, and your secondary is your low voltage. And so what I'm going to be doing is running the audio in through the secondary side, and then the primary will go to the volume control. And don't ask me electrically why it seems like we're doing this backwards, but that's the way it is. And so now I'm going to add this little cable here, and that cable is going to be what connects the audio from this device to the volume control. Sorry, I'm going to clear my throat. I'm sure you didn't enjoy hearing that. Now I've forgotten one more thing here, which is this itself will add a little bit of like a miniature isolation transformer between the transformer and the radio. We found early on that these transformers, the left-end circuit could interfere with the set's automatic gain control when it came to listening to AM radio. So by adding this resistor, which is around 240K or whatever, and you can be loosey-goosey, 220 to 250K, connected to a 0.02 rated microfarad capacitor, and that'll create a little bit of a miniature isolation between the transformer and the volume control. The chassis is pretty clean. I live out here on the West Coast, and it's really dry out here, and so the stuff that is from where else tends to be in really nice shape, and seems like it preserves the electronics for some reason. Seems like it preserves the electronics for some reason too, because a lot of them will still work. But when I was back home in the South, the weather would just ruin these things. The heat and humidity, because a lot of times they were out in a shed, would just ruin them. Only one more thing I need to do, and that's run audio cable through the back of the device. And I've got my cable. I ordered a bunch of cable that didn't look like this. Instead, they sent me nicer stuff. And I'm not about to return it because it's nice cable. And let me move the radio chassis a little bit closer to the camera. You'll notice there's a hole through the back of the chassis, and usually there's nothing there, and I'll have to drill a hole, and I hate doing that. But I want to make sure and run my audio cable out through the back, and I don't want it to chafe on anything, because this is a hot chassis, and if it chafes on there and it cuts the cord, that's no good, because that means the current could go right through the audio cord, and we don't want that. So I can get this in here. So I can get this in here without breaking anything. Okay, I think I got it just about through. Okay. Looks like maybe it hasn't gone all the way through up here. I'm going through 2 layers of steel here, so it's a little thicker. There we are. I've got like a nice little grommet there. Now here's the other thing I've done that kind of cheats the system a little bit. Not really even the system. It's just a different way of dealing with hot chassis radios, which is one of our members happens to have buddies that work over at the electronic recycling place. So we told him, tell his buddy if there's any hair dryers that come in through there, get the cords. So that's what we got. All these hair dryer cords. It's just a miniature GFCI. It's got a reset button and a test button. And if anyone for some reason touches this and ground, it's going to snap that in microseconds, fractions of a second. And on top of that, the audio is going to be running through this isolation transformer. So even the audio cable coming out the other end is not going to have anything on it. Now, is this 1000% necessary? I don't know. It's your call. If it's your radio, you make the judgment call. But this is the standards that our museum created. If something can be made safer pretty easily, why not? Where can I run this transformer? It's going to have to go over here, probably about right there. So now you see if someone yanks on this, there's a knot here, and it's not going to chafe on anything because it's on a rubber grommet. And yes, this is stereo cable. Absolutely not a stereo device, but that's okay. Okay, I need to put the two grounds together here. The cable I wanted is the mini 3.5 millimeter stereo cables, but they sent me the wrong stuff, and so I have to do some stupid crap to make this work, which is kind of aggravating. But I like the cable; it's thicker, it's thicker duty cable. All right, now I can yank this through all the way. Put this aside for just a minute and return the focus to this isolation transformer. Because what I want to do is run these right and left channels through these resistors here. These are 33 ohm resistors, even though the value is also really loosey-goosey. Like 25 to 50 ohms, probably fine, but we want to run our right and left channels together. See, we've got these two resistors and they come together like so. And our right and left channels are going to now tie together and become mono, except it'll be proper mono, correct mono. So you'll get more of the spectrum of the signal. So you can enjoy it through your tiny little 80-year-old 4¼ inch paper cone speaker. The glories of the audio world will be yours. Actually, I don't know. I just think it's cool to give these guys some new life, because a lot of times they'll just go in someone's house and just sit there for years doing nothing. I believe we got everything wired up here. Make sure nothing's touching. Get everything battened down, and now it's time for the next thing, which is encase it in glue. You're probably wondering why I'm doing this, and I'll explain it in just a minute. Okay, I'm going to make it nice and neat looking. Right, pull some of this back through here. All right, behold the glue gun that has been waiting patiently. Now, because I know this is a live video and we just can't wait for this to cool off on its own, I've got this thing I got on, I don't remember where I got it from, one of those Chinese websites. I think it was Temu or something like that. I'm never doing that again because I get so much junk mail, like junk email from them now. All right, let me turn it on. Don't want to make it splash at first. I'm just trying to get this cooled off a little bit.
Sorry, folks. I know this is really not the most fun thing you could possibly ever watch, but this will be over in just a second. Not a second, more like 10 seconds. Okay, I'm just going to let that do its thing and run a switch wire out the back while I'm waiting for this to cool down a little bit more and solidify. I'm doing that because what if this breaks free inside that hot chassis? I don't want any exposed metal contact, so after it's glued and secured down, this will still be encased inside of plastic. I mean, I don't know how long this thing might possibly be put back in use. It's already 80 years old, and given that it's been overhauled, it could be many, many decades of it being put back in use as I pull the splinters out of my finger. Okay, this can go out immediately through here. This is the switch wire. It does not need to be that crazy long length either. It'll recouple my signal. The radio signal. So I had a question when I partially watched the episode from somebody who was like, if you restore these so frequently, like if you make these episodes almost nightly, then how many radios do you think you've restored? And I did a very rough paper napkin sort of kind of math. And I'd say for the last decade, I've averaged about 2 radios per week. And that's on the low end because sometimes I can sail through about 4 or 5 per week. And I've been doing it, I guess, for about 10, 12 years. So I don't know, you do the math. I worked it out to be close to 1,000 radios. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I think it means that I don't have any social life other than the radio museum and my close friends who are a part of it. And that's it. But I'm going to admit I've been kind of going into overdrive lately because of what's going on in my personal life right now. I've got some stuff going on. It's worrisome, and doing this helps keep my mind at ease. It's the FedEx man just pulled up. Feel bad for him too, because we order stuff from Chewy, which is a pet supply place, including all the cat litter. Damn boxes probably weigh 40 pounds each, and like every time I try to help him, he's like, you can't, because like I guess it's some sort of liability thing. But it's like, sorry for ordering all the cat litter. Keep on nailing this thing with my hat. Hey there. Thank you. Wasn't cat litter, it's the new shower head. You see, what happened is, as stupid as it sounds, about a week and a half ago, I got up and was gonna take a shower, and stupid shower head came off, like literally came off, and like shattered and broke on the shower floor. And I was like, well, I don't know what to do about that. And I looked around my garage, and I had this really old shower head, probably from the 60s. And that's no good around here because it uses way too much water. And we're not in a We're in a dry, like I said, we're kind of in a dry part of the country. So I have a low flow one that probably just arrived. And hopefully that'll be the end of my household breakage stuff that's been happening for the last month or so around here. My dishwasher broke. Some other stuff broke. Some plumbing got clogged up. Now I need just the cars to start breaking or something. See if I can get some better light on this situation. Well, maybe it's better to film it this way. I really do need to get some better. I just realized I knocked the microphone over. Sorry about that, guys. Disaster. Do I do any farm radios? I've done a couple of them. Did one because I restored a 1935 Zenith wind charger wind turbine. And I decided, well, if I'm going to restore a wind charger, I should have a 6-volt farm radio to go with it. And those are both restored and are going to be displayed at our museum because I decided I didn't need to have a giant 7-foot wide blade and a huge stand in my house. Why is that not wanting to stick? Well, is that not a flat surface? No, it totally is. All right, let me start all over. I noticed one of the people that had subscribed to this channel said that they were unsubscribing because the quality was so bad, and I don't blame him. I mean, the quality is pretty terrible, I admit, and it's just me yammering on about bullshit. Bear with me while I get this to try to stick. I just need it to set. Please, oh please do it. Okay, it looks like that is bonding. Okay, so now I can attach this to trying to get this pulled through again and get this attached to volume control. Since it's a hot chassis, the other side of the isolation transformer can go to chassis ground, and I'm just repeating this. This is a isolation transformer. So whatever you do, do not attach audio cables directly to a hot chassis like this. You need to go through an isolation transformer. And that's what this is. In fact, I should reiterate the warning that I have for all of my videos, which is do not do anything that you see here because I am a complete and total moron and do not know what I'm doing at all. So it's unwise to follow my advice here. You could get in trouble. It's like glue all over my soldering iron. Now, if all goes well, that should enable me to play some audio through this while temporarily decoupling AM signal. First of all, let me get all these alligator clips that decided to fall down. And I'll plug in my GFCI plug. Go ahead and get that fired up. There's pilot light, and I want to connect to my Bluetooth. Okay, it is activated. Now let me get my phone out so I can connect. And first, I need to confirm that we are connected via my controls, wherever they are. Okay, the Bluetooth is active and paired.
When I wake up in the morning, love, and the sunlight hurts my eyes, and something without water, love.
All right, like it matters, but if I could play it too much longer, they will ping my video for copyright violations. So that's just a little bit of a taste. Maybe I can play something else. Let's see.
Now we're going back into the past a little bit right here and bring back some of the good old days. We're going to remind you.
Got a little bit of static on that volume control there. Let's see. Clean that up a little bit. Just a little bit. Okay, that might have done it. Oh, sorry, it's an awkward angle. All right, now. Okay, that's much smoother. Okay, the neighborhood stray cat has showed up, and we've been feeding him for about 12 years. So let me go get him some food real quick. Oh shit! I just realized my microphone's not plugged in. Hold on a second. Guys, I'm really sorry. I didn't realize until just now that the microphone that I had upgraded to had totally not been connected. So can't believe I did that. Been talking here for like 30 minutes. Sorry about that. Hope that sounds better. That's probably not why no one was watching it, because it was terrible. And it doesn't help that I mumble like crazy. Oh yeah, could you guys forgive me for just about 10 seconds while I go feed this cat? I keep canned cat food out here just for him. So this is, let me back the camera up a little bit. So I spent quite a bit of time working on the cabinet last night. And I'm not done with it quite yet. There's still some little areas that I want to finesse a little bit. You can see how much that Bakelite is brought out just with a little patience and a little bit of elbow grease. The trick is to use a good quality Carnauba paste wax, the hard stuff. And you can, this took about probably an hour and a half last night. So usually when I'm sitting listening to music and me and my wife are talking, I'll just have this sitting in my lap. And so I know it's a pretty common radio, but the fact that the Bakelite on this looks so nice, I couldn't help but think when I saw it, I was like, this could be a really pretty piece. And now that it's been given maybe a little bit more of a chance at being enjoyed, because it has this audio input capability, probably it's going to sound a lot better when it's put back in the case. And let me see if I can aim the camera better at it. There we go. I wouldn't be surprised if it was a 30s design. I mean, you'd think that Emerson would keep, it'd be like a car. You'd probably keep your similar model going for X number of years. I know that Belmont, for example, made that famous kind of bullet design for everybody forever. Now, what I'm not going to show is I need to fabricate a new back for this radio because the original one's missing. And another one of our requirements is that it needs to have a full back. Again, so that people can't just easily stick their fingers through it, even though they're probably not likely to do so. I'm going to do a final kind of preliminary test fire on this before go to the second radio. Let me see what my time is here, actually. That's not good. The pilot light just snapped. Now, it could be it was old and on its way out, and I've turned it off and on a whole bunch. But let me pull that back out. That can also mean that the rectifier tube could be starting to short or shorted, but it could just also be it's a tired pilot light that just let go. Let's see here. It's a 47. Doesn't look ancient. Let me just flip it over just a minute just to make sure nothing got moved in a weird way. Looks fine, except I left this stupid long piece in here, which does not need to be in there. There. Kind of hard to get that back in there. There we go. Is this even the right bulb? No, it says 47. Just freak bulb on. Just because I'm a curious person, I'm wondering if maybe something is hitting inside the chassis when I put it back in. I doubt it. Let me fire it up one more time, and then we'll move on to the second radio. Helps to have the radio plugged in. There we go. Yeah, I think it's fine. It just kind of, when it comes up just a little bit, then it kind of fades back. You're good.
Carmelo Anthony here, file 2. You want to shoot?
Well, I will need to add a little micro switch to the back. But I can do that in a little while, because what I need to do again is make a back for this, and I'm not going to film that because it will take forever. All righty, what do we have here? Second radio is a RCA, probably 1946 model. They made a lot of these. 665X1. About as plain Jane as they come when it comes to AA5s. The classic lineup: 35Z5, 50L6, 12SQ7, 12SK7, and 12SA7 with an oval speaker. Wow, it's got the original back. These like never survive, these backs. And it says, "This is to certify that this instrument includes the matched elements required in the production of the Golden Throat Tone by D.D. Doyle, Chief Engineer, Home Instrument Department of RCA Victor." It has got a mat of dust bunnies. Now, the other thing I'm curious about, and I'm not sure if you can see this, it's got mica base sockets. I don't know why you would spend that kind of money on AA5 isn't beyond me. Maybe they had surplus parts from the war. It's got a nice cord on it, and it looks like a more recently replaced plug. I'm going to make an assessment. I'm going to give it a 50-50 chance of working, maybe even a little bit higher than that, because I think someone's been in here. It's too nice looking. Okay, can't see the pilot light on this one. but I see them. If you see it up there, there it is going. And the tubes are glowing.
Help us to remember the pit from which we've been dug. Enable us to. And their pitch is stacked as healthy as possible. Think about team things right now. They've never been doing this.
Sounds good. This tuner's getting stuck up here. I've learned from long ago, don't force these things or you'll break the string and then you'll be spending the next 3 hours putting the damn thing back on. So don't do it. But let's see what's going on inside. I really don't want to mess that back up. That would be a shame. So it will need to be spirited away somewhere where I won't accidentally do something horrible to it. These are getting hard to find. I don't know what you call them, but if I ever find a case of hundreds of them, I'll be delighted. Whoops, it just jumped away. Mr. D.D. Doyle. Man must have gotten around because I've seen that name everywhere on these radios. See, no one would ever probably replace that. They'd be like, whatever. But that survived. It's not that dirty, really. The top of the tubes look pretty clean, and we've got some written Sharpie marker on the 12SQ7. Here comes my wife's singing car. It's to alert people of its presence, including me. That was the car too. It likes to make a very stark beeping noise. As you can tell, I'm not super enthusiastic about it. Man, is it jammed in there? Green marking on top of that 12SQ7. 12SQ7s love to fuck up, so probably means someone replaced it. Here's the magic reveal about how good or bad it's going to be. Holy cow. It's been restored. And whoever did the work did pretty reasonable work. And that's silicone. It's a vintage Sprague. It looks like the kind of capacitor you'd see in an instrument or something really high end. And where's the other? There's the other electrolytic right there. They're probably fine, but just to make double sure, I'm going to bring over my cap checker. Okay, let me rearrange things so you can see what we're dealing with here. So maybe I should put them closer together so that you can see more of what I'm about to do. This device is a Sprague Telemic capacitor checker and reformer. What I mean by that is you can take otherwise good capacitors that might have lost their oxide layer over the years and rebuild that oxide layer. So I'm just going to remove the positive lead here, which is very conveniently barely soldered on. That's the only thing attached. Be careful with these machines, and if you're not a proficient person when it comes to their usage, do not use this because it puts out real voltage and you can get seriously electrocuted. Before I go too far, actually I need to set the voltage on it because the peak on these is 200 volts. There's no need in frying the capacitors for no reason. Okay. Not wild about the meter on this thing. It's sticky. Okay, positive and negative. Now what I was looking for is what that needle was going to do. If it's a bad capacitor, it would have shot way over here, or not. If it needed to be reformed, it would have sat there maybe and start hovering on its way down. This one's shot way down already pretty dramatically, and the leakage, that's fine. It's actually slightly reforming. There's nothing wrong with that capacitor. It's perfectly fine. So make sure you discharge everything. Yeah, that looks like a high-end capacitor, which I'm not sure if I would have spent the money on if someone did that, but they did. And let me see what they've done about the most important capacitor in here, which is going to be the one that goes to chassis ground. And where is it? 0.047. Here it is. This is the chassis capacitor, and it looks quite large. It's 1/10 of a microfarad. Now what that means is this, while making this a little bit of a more neutral experience, meaning not all of the current is going to go right through this chassis. It's going through this capacitor first. And that's going to limit the amount of current that could get to this chassis. But at 1/10 of a microfarad, you're still probably going to get kind of a little bit of a nasty jolt. Enough to make you be like, ow, that kind of hurt. And there's a concern about how little it takes to cause a heart to fibrillate. And so it's kind of important that you observe what values to run to chassis. So that needs to be replaced with a much smaller value. But I'm looking at the clock, and basically we are approaching the 1 hour mark. And so I think I'm going to maybe wrap it up. And I apologize for those of you who watched at the beginning where the audio quality as far as the microphone was so poor. All right, everybody. Have a great evening, morning, afternoon, where you have to be in the world. I'll see you guys later.